Have you ever heard the term methylation? Well, whether you have or you haven't, we're going to break it down for you today. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I first heard about methylation, I listened to a 40-minute podcast, and when it was over, I was still scratching my head trying to figure out what the heck I had just heard. It was like, okay, I think I understand. I think I get it, but also what the actual hell did they just say? So that's why today we're breaking it down in a way that actually makes sense, because you shouldn't need a PhD to understand your own body. In fact, I keep it real around here, and if I can get it, you can get it. So to help me with that, I've brought on one of my absolute go-tos when it comes to hormones and complicated topics like this. That is Leah Onstott, who is our nurse practitioner at Zen Regen, and she's coming to us from Hawaii. Leah is a total rock star when it comes to hormone health and optimization, especially for women going through menopause and postmenopause. She has this amazing way of making even the most complex stuff feel simple and, more importantly, doable. But before we jump in, let me give you my usual disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm just an ordinary person like you, trying to live my best life and figuring out how to optimize my health. I'm not here to offer medical advice. And while Leah is a licensed provider, she's also not giving you personalized medical advice today either. What I am here to do is share my knowledge and experiences in hopes that it sparks something in you to be a better advocate for your own health. And while today's podcast is mostly geared toward women, methylation is an important piece to men's health too. So maybe we'll cover that in a later episode. Let's get into it and figure out how methylation might just be the missing piece in your wellness puzzle. Leah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. It was great to be here.
I want to start with breaking down what methylation is, because I feel like, again, it is one of those topics that it is a little bit more complicated to understand. So I would love to hear how you would phrase it for our listeners today in a way that they might be able to understand.
Absolutely. It's definitely a topic that can make one's eyes just kind of glaze over because it is really complicated. It sounds complicated, but simply put, it's a process that turns your genes off and on and repairs your DNA. For instance, it works on neurotransmitter synthesis, helping to process serotonin and norepinephrine. It helps the immune and inflammatory processes. For instance, if it's not working, things like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, or Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It helps cholesterol balance via homocysteine. It helps convert vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. It helps with fat metabolism, your stress response. It helps with detoxification. And obviously, it helps with hormone production and metabolism. So it can affect so many different areas of the body, pretty much all areas of the body. So symptoms of methylation problems could be things like fatigue, anxiety, depression, the list goes on.
Yeah. So methylation is one of the key processes that your body uses to take nutrients from your food or supplementation and actually turn them into a form that your body can actually use. So if you think of it like you're eating healthy and you're giving yourself these raw materials, methylation is the actual assembly line, if you will, that transforms those raw materials into something functional. So an example of this would be like if you're eating lots of leafy greens for folate, which is vitamin B9, your body needs to methylate the folate in order to put it into like an active form, which is the methylfolate, for it to actually do its job. So like you had mentioned, supporting the DNA repair, producing neurotransmitters and detoxification. If methylation isn't working properly, that folate just sits there unused, and it might still be creating some of these symptoms of folate deficiency.
Correct. And that's how it folds into the turning the genes off and on. Yes, absolutely.